Hey guys, welcome to episode 3 of Beyond the Facial. This is your host, Lorraine Zuniga, here at Lorraine Zuniga Skin Therapy and Beyond the Facial podcast. Today I decided that we were going to go ahead and do video. Simply because, you know what, sometimes people react a little bit to video. Not that they should necessarily because, you know, everything's going to, I pretty much talk about the same thing. But I am the type of person that is more of a little bit of a visual learner. Therefore, I feel like there's people out there with that same, you know, mental capacity of like, that's how they gravitate information. And so anyways, in today's episode, guys, I wanted to really kind of introduce myself. Many of you already know me. Some of you might not, but I just wanted to come on here and really show you who I am, which is the person you see right in front of the camera. Now, I think I spoke on episode 1. My goal is with the podcast is to help you guys understand skincare and kind of just talk you through what things to do, what things we shouldn't do, and things like that, right? Well, today, since it is my first time doing video, I wanted to go ahead and speak with you guys in reference a little bit of who I am as a woman, as a friend, sister, and who I am as an esthetician. And so, you know, people might see this type of person who is very, you know, she's so happy all the time. Oh my God, she's doing so many things and how does she do it and things like that. But the truth of the matter is that I am a hot mess. I am sure a lot of my fellow estheticians can go ahead and, you know, they feel a little, they relate to that per se, right? I'm pretty sure many of my estheticians can relate to that because, you know, it's a real thing. You know, being a business owner is not easy. Like, it's definitely not easy. There's a lot to it. You know, you are just a woman that is, we are a woman that wears many hats. You know, I am your receptionist. I am your host. I'm your esthetician. I am the cleaning lady. I am the manager for the spa. Like, there is so much going on. And, you know, I've been in the business for 10 years. I'm going to be very honest with you guys. I have never felt like I needed a team until now. I feel like I could use of a team. Another thing that happens, it tends to happen a lot, is that I am very controlling. And I don't know, that might be a part of like why I became an entrepreneur, because I just don't want anybody telling me what to do, you know? And so I decided that, you know, the only way that we can move out of that area is actually making my own rules and not following what everybody says that you should follow. Now, I'm not to say that I don't follow any type of rules, because I do. But they're my rules that I make. Okay, anyways, so guys, thank you guys for being here. I appreciate it so much. I hope that you guys enjoy what I'm doing here. I hope, and I have so many I have a vision for this podcast, and I have a goal, and I feel like I'm going to make it happen. I truly, truly do, from the bottom of my heart. I feel like this is what I want to do. Obviously, I love seeing clients. I don't want to leave the treatment room because I absolutely adore seeing my clients. They've become friends. Some have even become close to family. And I love that so much for me because, you know, like, that is just me building a community. And so a community that supports me. And more than anything, I'm grateful for that opportunity. But in today's episode, I wanted to tell you a little bit, like I said, of who I am as a woman, business person, an entrepreneur, what my goals are for the community, for my clients, and for Beyond the Facial. So I want to start. Many of my clients already kind of know this and how I became an esthetician. Um, my love, as many estheticians, began in 2016 with makeup. So I was a makeup junkie. You know, those crazy cut crease eyeshadow techniques. I was doing those. I was obsessed. So I decided that I wanted to get a license in order for me to be able to like do makeup on other people. And at that time, my cousin was going to cosmetology school, which she was going to Tri-State. And she had kind of like mentioned it to me, hey, you should go to school for this. You have like a great eye for makeup. You have the personality. You should go to cosmetology school. And I kind of like, I thought about it and I was, yeah, I should. So we decided to go to the school and see what it was all about. I wanted to check it out. I wanted to see like what it's all about and everything. And so I did. And she took me once and we went in. The initial floor was the cosmetology. It was too chaotic for me. Like it was insanely chaotic. I was like, what is going on here? And I just saw, the music was loud. Everybody was all over the place and everybody was just kind of like doing their own thing, but really talking to each other. It was kind of crazy. I'm not going to lie. But I said, you know what? That's okay. Like, we're going to go ahead and continue going. And then I went into the nail room and I definitely did not feel the vibe there. I was like, no, this is not for me. This is not what I want to do. Then they took me to the third room, and the third room was my aesthetics room. And I say my, but it was the aesthetics room. Oh my God. When I went in there, the lights were dimmed. The music was soft and flowing. It was nice, to say the least. Everybody was in their designated area. And there was soft music. And it smelled so good. I'm never going to forget the smell. And you know what it was? At that time, the school had Dermalogica. I started with Dermalogica. I'm sure many of my estheticians know the brand. And my nose hairs are engraved with this cleanser. It's the pre-cleanse. Oh my God. Tell me you guys love that cleanser as much as I do. I absolutely love it. It takes me back to the moment of when I started as an esthetician. And it was amazing. I loved it. And I said, this is where I want to be. Like, I saw myself in that moment and I said, yes, this is what I want to do. Grateful for my cousin for taking me there. And I quit my job. I had been working at a doctor's office for about 5 years. And I had just climbed the ladder all the way till I could because I didn't have any I didn't have a certification or anything where I could keep going up. So that was the deal with that. And then I decided, I had my good friend Andrea, which I love her. She would hype me up a lot. She used to sell Mary Kay, and so that's how it started, the love for makeup. And she would hype me up a lot, and she would be like, yeah, you absolutely know how to do it, like this and that. And you know what? I finally said, you know what? I can't stay here anymore. I'm going to go to beauty school. And I quit. I went to beauty school. And here I am 10 years later. It's not been an easy journey, guys. It has not. Actually, I made a lot of amazing friends. Shout out to Miss Iris, who I love. We don't really talk anymore, but I definitely hold a lot of love and appreciation for that friendship because she really was like my bestie during beauty school. She's the one that taught me a lot about makeup. She literally, like, there's no other explanation for that. Also, I met Belen. I don't see her anymore other than just like acquaintances on the Facebook. And I had some amazing times with her too. I mean, obviously beauty school wasn't all about like school. We used to party a lot too, which is insane, but whatever. If many of you know me, like for all of this, I'm a big party girl. If you think I'm a party girl now, just imagine how much of a party girl I was back then. But I digress. So then I met another friend there, and she became my mentor. She became somebody that I looked up to. She was so smart, and not only was she so smart, she also like really treated her clients with a lot of love and dedication. And I absolutely loved that. I looked up to that, and I wanted to be that person. I remember that in beauty school, we used to have like days where you take your own clients. And so, they would pay. Like clients would actually pay. And that was when we were already in the floor seeing clients. Well, everybody always wanted to go with her. Everyone always wanted to go with her. See why. I could see why they loved her. And, she's just amazing. She would do amazing work. And I would always be asking to shadow her around. And so at first she was kind of a little hesitant, but eventually she did let me shadow her. And I absolutely loved how her clients would just ask for her. They wanted to be seen by her, touched by her. And even I would always be like, can you do a facial on me? Because that's how good she was. She was amazing. I'm not going to lie. So then we graduated. Before graduation, I asked her, what are your plans on, after school? Are you going to work for someone? What are your plans? And she had told me that she wanted to be her own boss. She was going to be a esthetician, entrepreneur, and she was going to open up her own place. I thought that was amazing. At that time, for me, that seemed impossible. Just 1,000% impossible. I said, no, I would never do something like this. However, I did ask her, I said, hey, well, that's amazing for you. I'm all in. Hire me. And she looked at me and she said, no. She said, are you crazy, Lorraine? And I was like, no, hire me. I'm ready to do this. I want to work for you. And she said, I think she took like days to think about it. And then she came back and she was like, you know what? I am going to hire you. But you got to give me time because I don't think that I could hire you right out of like school. I said, don't worry. That's fine. You let me know whenever you're ready. Well, it took about a year or two. I'm going to say about 2 years. In that process, I worked for another esthetician or another spa, 2 other spas. And then I worked for a Sephora, which they let me go because I don't know. I just wasn't picking up shifts, I guess. And then I worked for Walgreens, which was miserable. I also worked for Macy's, for Clinique to be exact. They taught me a lot. Their trainings taught me a lot. But just retail is like, ugh. And don't get me wrong, I do retail here too, but it's very different when you believe in your product. So that was that story, how I started. I worked with her for about 2 years. Initially, she couldn't hire me, and I was just kind of like, I really want to work with you. And she was like, yeah, but I'm sorry, I just cannot hire you yet. And I said, fine, I'll just do it for free. Let's call it an internship or apprenticeship or whatever. I don't know, but I would help her. And so she said, are you sure you want to do this? And I said, yes. The point is that I wanted to be there learning. And she agreed to it. I trained with her for about 6-7 months without pay. At this point, I was working other stuff. I think I was at Walgreens, and then I was at Macy's. And I was doing that other job as an esthetician. I was working for someone actually, and she even took me to California to some trainings, to LA. That was kind of fun. But I didn't last with her. After that, I went full time with her. I learned so much, so many people. I just was over the moon. I was doing what I absolutely loved, and I was good at it too, which was pretty amazing. Then things started changing. We moved to the west side. We ran a clinic over there. And when I say we, I mean I ran that clinic. I was the manager. I would do the numbers and I would see the clients. I would clean the restrooms. I would clean reception area. I was always doing something. And at some point, I was like, you know what? I'm doing all of this for someone else. Why couldn't I do that for myself? Not in a million years did I think I could do it, but eventually it started getting in my head and I was like, you know what? Hell yeah, I can do this. And so I decided, you know what? Why not? And I did it. Eventually, I started looking up machines. I started looking at how can I do this? How can I do that? I started writing everything down. My managing skills that I got there like out of nowhere, I just said, you know what? I can make this happen for myself. And I did. And so I did. I slowly and surely, one thing led to another. And, the way that as many of you know, I also believe a lot in like spirituality, manifestation. And I believe that everything comes at the right time. It's going to happen to you if you stick to it, if you're consistent with it. And so eventually it did happen for me that I found a place where I can work out of. I had never in my life paid rent anywhere. At that point, I was still living with my mom. My mom didn't ask me for rent, so it's not like I was paying her for anything. And so I was deadly afraid. I was deadly afraid to go into a new area of life where I was in charge of an actual room that was mine and that I was responsible for that rent. But I did it anyways. And, it was one of those things that I did and I came up on top. But because I was scared, but I did it scared. Let's put it that way. And to be honest, it was one of the best decisions of my life because here I am now, right? And so the truth is that that's really why I became an esthetician, is because I really initially when I started with makeup, I really, really loved the whole making my client feel her best, making my client feel like she was on top of the world. And that is something that, as for me, it's amazing. I feel that is what I was meant to do in this life. I love to make my clients feel their best. I love bringing that beauty within. I know it sounds cliche. It really does. But I feel like I absolutely adore when my clients feel beautiful. Let me tell you a quick story. I remember once I had this one client and she was like, she came in very sad. She was like, I don't know what's going on. I'm fighting with my boyfriend and I just feel so sad. And I was like, no, I'm so sorry. Let me go ahead and treat you. I will take care of you today. So we did her facial. She got a package of 3 facials. So she had come in for her first one. We did her facial and we talked for a little bit and we discussed what was going on with her boyfriend. She was an older lady too. So she's about late 50s, early 60s. And obviously that's not older. Well, that's not old, but it's older. And she was really going through it, I felt it because I'm a big empath too. So any emotions that you might be feeling, they definitely come to me. So my point to all of this is that we had been seeing each other. I saw her for her first appointment. She went home. Then she comes back for her second appointment. And on her second appointment, she was over the moon. She was like, oh my God, Lorraine, I cannot believe that, you helped me so much with my confidence. My boyfriend and I are doing amazing. And you know what? He looked at me and he said, what did you do to yourself? You look so beautiful. And that eventually they ended up having the best time of their life, if you know what I mean. And yes, guys, these are the type of client stories that I have. Eso no es nada, o sea, nada que ver. But, it was really nice to feel her emotions of gratitude and feel her emotions of enthusiasm because I was able to help her gain some of that, flourishment or some of that shine back, some of that glowing energy. Like, I just feel that that's one of the best things that has come out of this career. It is very, you know what the word is? It's very gratifying when you see how much hard work we've been putting into her appointments. And, once the skin starts to clear up, it is absolutely amazing to see how confident and beautiful they feel. Like, 1000%, that is one of the reasons why I love what I do so much. And, yeah, that's pretty much the deal with this. I am so grateful that I get to have that I was able to find my path in life early. I remember once I had a client and I was already thinking of going solo. And I was talking to her. She's funny. She's a Brazilian client. And so, like, every single word that would come out of her mouth was a cuss word or a cursing. She was cursing. She was always saying these bad words. And obviously, like, we have different forms of like cursing words. And one of the big one was for her was like, coño, coño. She kept saying coño. And I was like, what the fuck is that? But you know what? It was just her way of saying, like, maybe it's like a no mames type of thing. And I remember she was so nice. I loved her so much. Oh, she was actually a professor at UTEP. And so I remember once telling her, she was like, I'm so excited for you, Lorraine. You're already going to go and do this on your own. What an accomplishment. I wish you all the luck in the world. And she said, are you feeling okay? I clearly remember this conversation that we had. And she was like, I said, yeah, I do feel amazing. I feel prepared. I am scared, but here I am. And I did say, I feel a little confused, but at the end of the day, I'm going to do it. And she said, what do you feel confused about? And then I told her, I was like, well, I'm not sure that, what if I put everything on the line and it doesn't turn out the way that I want it to? If I put everything on the line and it doesn't turn on the way that I want it to? And she said, well, what is it that you're looking for? Or what are you scared of? And I said, what if in 5 years, I don't want to do this anymore? And she said, well, in 5 years, if you don't want to do this anymore, then just don't do it anymore. She gave me like one of the simplest answers ever. And I was like, what, are you kidding me? And she said, yeah, if you don't want to do it anymore, you move on, find something else that you love, but never stay with the what if I would have done it? What if I could have done it? You will never know until you try. And honestly, I'm so grateful for all the people that have come into my path, because each and every single person has taught me something. And for that, I am absolutely grateful yet again. Now, don't get me wrong, guys. There is I'm sure many estheticians in the industry have felt this way. And, it's not easy to come up how do I explain this? It's not easy to sit here and say this was an easy process. It's not easy. It's not easy. There's a lot of up and downs. There is seasons where we do not get one client in the door. There is seasons where you are burnt out, where you have done and put out everything that you have been able to, and it's just too much, where you have to take a step back and be like, what am I doing? What am I really doing? I'm overworking myself. It's not paying off. Will it ever pay off? I've been there. I'm sure many estheticians have been in there. And I cannot sit here and tell you it's going to get better. It does. It does. 1000%. It does get better. Actually, I can't sit here and tell you that it does get better. But in order for you to get to a place where it gets better, you have to have that drive of wanting to know that the career that you want is for you, and that you are willing to put in the work, because it's not easy. It is not easy. But it can be if you love it. But when you do something that you love, you do it with gratitude, you do it with joy, and you do it with an ease that it doesn't even seem like work. it sounds crazy, guys, but I've had clients where like, because usually my scheduling system is like, you will you schedule yourself online and you have to put down a card, right? So because of that reason, my clients will go in and just pay the session in advance. And so because I am so confident that my client pays in advance, sometimes my clients will leave without paying and I just forget, which is crazy. I know. I don't think I've ever really forgotten. And I don't, because at the end of the day, I go through all my books and everything. But there has been instances where I just let my clients walk out. And then till the end of the day, I'm like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I didn't send you an invoice or I didn't charge you and things like that. And so then they kind of like, they're like, oh yeah, I'm so sorry. And to me, that is that's saying, can you do something so much so that you love that you forget to charge people? I know, it's crazy. Like, how do I forget? How do you forget? But it does happen. So I feel like that's a testament to me that I love what I do so much that I can actually do that for free. Crazy, I know. I am Lorraine Zuniga Skincare Therapy. I wear so many hats, guys. I am the manager, the esthetician, the creative one. I do this, I do that. Now I'm starting a podcast. God knows how. But here I am. And so not only do I have this project of a podcast, not only do I run a business, but also I have another podcast with friends, and it's a little bit more laid back. It's a little bit more of a, like, let's laugh, let's say some funny things. And, with that one, I want to do more things for the community, whereas like I will contribute a little bit more to my community with fundraisers, with helping out in any shape, way, or form that I can in that matter. That's what Crude and Unhinged is for. So I invite you guys, if you guys haven't checked out Crude and Unhinged, you guys more than welcome to. We have YouTube, we have Spotify. But if you want to stick to a little bit more professional, a little bit more skincare advice, a little bit more of like, or business advice, you can go ahead and stick with this podcast right here. I will leave everything linked down below so that you can go ahead and subscribe. I would be more than glad, more than happy to get your guys' feedback in reference to everything that I'm talking about, or any other topics that you guys would love for me to talk about. I am so happy that I finally started this. It is something that I have been thinking about. What other type of subjects or topics you'd like to hear? Let me know. Tag your esthetician below. Let me know. Or your esthetician, your service provider, your makeup artist, your hairdresser, your lymphatic, your body sculptor. Let them know that you want to see them in my podcast, and I will bring them to you. Being said, guys, I am your host, Lorraine Zuniga, your skincare coach, skincare mentor, and your skincare therapist, and your emotional therapist, if you let me. And I am so happy that you're here. Please let me know if you guys have any questions for me, or if you have any topics or anything that you would want to discuss. I ask you guys to please go ahead and subscribe to my channel, and so you guys can keep updated with the episodes. Let me know if video is something that you guys like, or if you want to stick to just sound. For me, sound is a lot easier, I'm not gonna lie, but if you want video, I can do that for you. I did ask my clients yesterday what is it that they liked. A lot of them said video, so here I am at the attempt to video to make you guys happy. Anyways, my goal is that you guys are absolutely checking this podcast out and letting me know how you feel in regards to anything. I'm an open book. I'm here to help you out with your skin. Remember that we can do consultations over the phone, or you can come and see me. My phone number is 915-329-4839. If you feel like you have any questions, concerns for me in regards to your face, I am more than happy to help you. And with that, guys, I leave you. I love you so much. And I hope that we can both enjoy this new journey together. Okay, period queen.